New York City, 1996. A city bustling with life. But beneath the noise, under the shadows cast by towering skyscrapers, lies something far darker than anyone could imagine. What if I told you there was a family, an ordinary family, that encountered something? A force so malevolent, so otherworldly, that only a miracle could save them. This is their story, one they claim is real. But is it? In the fall of 1996, the Matthews family moved into what they thought was the home of their dreams. An old brownstone in a quiet part of New York, it had been abandoned for years. The air inside the house was thick with history, with memories long forgotten. But there was something else too, an uneasiness that settled into their bones the moment they walked through the door. They brushed it off. New places often felt strange. It was just nerves, or so they thought. It started small, unexplainable cold spots, objects moving when no one was looking, a shadow darting just out of sight. Laura Matthews, the mother, felt it first. She would hear her name whispered in the dead of night, but when she turned, there was no one there. Her husband, Michael, dismissed it as her imagination, the stress of moving. But the children, Amy and Joshua, began waking up with nightmares, screaming about a dark figure that watched them from the corners of their rooms. Then came the scratches. Deep, jagged marks appeared on the walls, and no one knew how they got there. They would repair them, only to find new ones the very next day. One evening, after weeks of strange occurrences, something happened that they couldn't ignore. Laura was in the kitchen preparing dinner when the room suddenly went cold, colder than she had ever felt. The lights flickered violently, and in the dim glow, she saw it. A figure, tall, black as the void, standing just behind her. Its eyes, burning like embers, locked onto hers. She couldn't scream, she couldn't move. The entity stepped forward and the temperature dropped even further. In her panic, she reached for the only thing she could find, a small Bible that had been left on the counter. Clutching it tightly, she whispered a prayer, and then, silence. The entity vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Terrified, the family turned to the only thing they believed could save them, their faith. Every night they would gather in the living room, reading passages from the Bible, praying for protection. They didn't know what they were facing, but they knew it was powerful, and it wanted them gone. One night as they prayed, something miraculous happened. A warm light filled the room and the air became sweet, almost peaceful. A sense of calm washed over them, and for the first time in weeks they felt safe. It was Amy who saw it first, a figure glowing softly, standing in the doorway. It was a man, draped in white, his face kind, serene. He raised his hand, and in that moment, they knew. It was Jesus. The dark presence that had haunted their home recoiled. The walls trembled and a low growl filled the air. But Jesus stood firm, his light burning brighter. And as they watched in awe, the entity dissolved, disappearing into the shadows from which it came. After that night, the house was still. The cold spots vanished, the scratches healed, and the nightmares stopped. The Matthews family was left in awe of what they had experienced, and though they couldn't explain it, they believed that Jesus himself had come to their rescue. The house was no longer haunted, but the memory of those weeks lingered with them forever. So, was it really a miracle? Did a force beyond this world come to protect the Matthews family? Or was it something else, something darker, something waiting, watching, until the time is right to return? We may never know. But one thing is certain, for the Matthews, this was no mere ghost story. This was their reality. What would you do if the darkness came for you? Share this story with those who dare to believe in the impossible. Like this video if it left your heart racing, and if you too believe there's more to this world than meets the eye. And most importantly, subscribe. Join us on this journey into the mysteries, where every step brings us closer to the edge of the unseen.